had company legislation in Ghana for years. The Companies Act 1963 was in use for about 56 years. We had challenges in the application of the law. We spent time litigating. We never seemed to have appreciated even the terms that were introduced by that law. For example, that law introduced equity shares, abandoned ordinary shares. But lawyers, accountants, Office of the Registrar of Companies continued to use the terminology ordinary shares until the law was repealed. Even the forms of the ORC had that terminology. Companies were to be incorporated. Then after incorporation, were given certificate to commence business, even though not required by law, but practically it became necessary and useful. 2 stages. There was always confusion about who has paid for shares and who has not, who is a shareholder and who is not. Then, from the year 2007, the Registrar of Companies demanded that instead of the 2 stages, the filing of the regulations in our Constitution should be done together with the forms that were completed before the company could commence business. So it meant that from day one, the foundation had been laid for litigation. So these forms were completed without people really sitting down to discuss shareholding. We have been litigating. Then comes in this new law. The question is, are we going to behave in the same way? You all read the law, we seem to understand it. When it comes to the application, we go our separate ways. I have been approached by a number of people to take the Office of Registrar of Companies to court over certain issues. Then I ask, to what end? Why not create a day like this and more, when you can get together, discuss, and find a common ground instead of going to litigate?
The Companies Act 2019, Act 992, which is presently in force, was passed on 2nd May 2019 and received presidential assent on the 2nd of August 2019. It replaces the Companies Act 1963 Act 179, which was used for over 50 years. This new act is therefore very forward-looking and introduces more robust laws on corporate governance, beneficial ownership, and promotes the ease of doing business. The Act features various new sanctions and seeks to promote compliance to enhance corporate governance. I'm going to touch on a few changes of this Act that all companies are to ensure to comply with. First of all, we never had suffixes, specifically designating the types of companies that we should have. But now this new Act has brought 6 suffixes that all companies must ensure, even those that were registered before the Act was passed, to amend so that in the system, once you've been updated, we can identify you by the suffixes. For instance, when we talk of LTD or limited company, we know straight away that you're a private company. When we talk of PLC or public limited company, straight away we know that you're a public company. When we see LBG or limited by guarantee, we know the type of company you are. If we see private and limited company for law firms or those who have professional advice to people, we see straight away that you're a private and limited company. PUC, we know you're a public and limited company. And then public limited by guarantee companies, that's PLBG. This is not because it's just for fun, but it helps to be able to regulate you as a company in the system. And I know questions are being asked. Why are we compelling you to change your names even when you were registered before the act was passed? It is always necessary to comply with the new legislation in place to ensure that we can regulate you properly. So that is why we're asking all companies to comply with this particular provision. We have new constitutions. Initially, we used to have regulations. Now we have constitutions. The constitutions govern the operations of a company, and we have been able to come out with 6 types per the schedules of Act 992. Again, we will require you, if you haven't gotten your constitution yet, to adopt one of them in compliance. After you change your name, make sure that you get this new constitution with the name also reflected in it. All these forms, you can get it from our website, www.rgd.gov.gh. It's still there because our website, www.orc.gov.gh, is still being worked on by the IT department. I'm trusting that next year we won't be talking of www.rgd.gov.gh. IT guys? Okay. Please, let's make sure that we quickly do that and move all the information into this new website. Thank you. We have stopped issuing certificate to commence business and given Form 4. We have stopped all that. We now just have a certificate of incorporation. Companies are also now required to declare their true ultimate beneficial owners, and we've introduced this through the beneficial ownership regime. All existing companies by the Act are to declare their beneficial owners by the end of December 2022 to avoid being sanctioned. Auditors who have been auditors of a particular company for more than 6 years would also have to be changed under Act 992. All companies have up until 31st December 2022 to change any auditors who need to be changed at the next AGM to conform to the provisions of Act 992. All new directors who are now required to submit a statutory declaration in conformity with the Act are to do this by proving that they are fit to occupy the position of directors, and also they need to provide a consent letter agreeing to the appointment. This wasn't there in Act 1963, Act 179. We also didn't have company secretaries who had requisite qualifications as spelled out in Act 992. And we are saying that now you need qualified company secretaries. I can tell you that people are still submitting secretaries that are not competent to carry out the functions of a company secretary. There's nothing wrong with wanting your wife or your child to be part of a company. But that mentality that, oh, let me just use my wife. And your wife has absolutely no knowledge about company law. So when that happens, then you have all kinds of unqualified people coming into the office to come and file documents, and it creates a pressure for us. Because yesterday, for instance, I had a call from somebody who was very frantic. My company inspectors are, asking so many questions. And he had sent a stark illiterate to come and file annual returns. And we went into the system and realized that he didn't have auditors. He'd had auditors with financial statements, but somehow our system didn't have whoever his auditor was. The gentleman didn't even know when we were talking about auditors, And I checked and I found out that he had just used his wife as a company secretary. And when I tried to inform him that things have changed, you need somebody who understands the law to come and file these things. He didn't understand what I was saying. So clearly, we need to press this point that things have changed. It's not like it used to be before, just using anybody at all.